are in rehab right now.
So if we can grab a renter
And this is a little bit about us.
into a homeowner.
That's the pride of ownership and the satisfaction that they've actually made it. It's an amazing opportunity for somebody instead of renting for the rest of their life. And that's a winning situation, and that's why we think of it. I'm James Guajardo. I'm with Wynn Mobile Homes. I'm actually the president and broker of Wynn Mobile Homes.
This is Alden with Wynn Mobile Homes here. I take care of all the sales and acquisitions, client relations, and things of that nature.
I've been in real estate off and on. Even my family and my parents started in real estate. And I grew up in it from the age of like 10 years old. You know, now being the father and actually bringing my son into real estate, that was actually a big dream. I also have 2 daughters, myself and a wife. And it's just always been a great part of my life and seeing different aspects. There's so many different aspects to real estate.
Going back to about when I was 16, I'd be out there in the valley evaluating foreclosure homes. From there, I went on to hospitality and things of that nature, being in the customer service realm. And it's great to be able to help people out at the end of the day and get them into something that, you know, they might possibly not be able to afford and things like that.
About 2 years ago, I realized as we worked through the financial aspects of acquiring a property, rehabbing it, and then ultimately putting out a finished project and make it available for sale, and also creating a unique opportunity where we could provide owner financing. A lot of people don't understand it, but through some trial and error and testing and speed and efficiency, we've been able to cultivate a great opportunity, not only for ourselves as a business, but also for our prospective buyers, because we're able to provide a great turnkey type of product. Alden drove with me. We got up early in the morning and we would drive mobile home parks every day and talk about it and talk a little bit about the investment strategy and just talk about the opportunity, how, you know, a lot of my thing is about giving back, because I know the more that I give, the more the opportunity to get it just comes into play. And I noticed that in the Arizona market, there's a huge lack of give for people that can't normally afford a home. And at the same time, we cater to investors to help us grow this specific market by providing them a phenomenal return for their investment. But we do the best that we can every single day to make sure that we fulfill that word, which is trust. And at Wynn Mobile Homes, that's a critical thing for us. We want to make sure that we grow, but at the same time, we're providing a value for everyone across the board. And again, it's a win-win situation.
With Wynn Mobile Homes here, we got 2 new buyers, a lot 251. How did we do today?
Awesome.
Great.
Awesome. You're fast and easy service and really professional. And we're very excited for our new home.
We did awesome. He is awesome. He will do whatever he can to help you. He did a great job for us. He's awesome. Don't go to anyone else. If you're buying a mobile, go to Wynn Mobile Homes.
We are so appreciative of Wynn Mobile Homes. They did a great job with everything, and we'd recommend them to anybody. It was a really awesome experience.
So that video was taken about, I think, about what, 5 years ago, Alden?
Little more weight on myself at the time.
Yeah, you can see he didn't have his little goatee or anything like that going. But, you know, we look at the opportunity, the underserved market, which is low-cost housing. In Arizona, what's the average home price is, I think, still approaching?
$460 it is, $460,000.
So where does the consumer, the average, you know, blue-collar worker, for them, for an alternative of, everybody wants home ownership, and it's really just completely gotten away. And we're going to be talking today is a little bit about Warren Buffett's program, because he's really taken a big bite out of manufactured homes in parks, which a lot of people don't really understand on notes. And I talk to a lot of note investors and they're like, oh, if it's not on land, I can't do it. But we're going to be kind of delving into this, because if you know who Warren Buffett is, he's consumed about 75–80% of the market. And if he believes in it, I think you really should take a second look at it. So this year, just to let you know, for our company, our lending site, which is for investors on notes, It's this specific. It's mobilemailboxmoney.com. And on that site, you can find multiple notes that are available, and we sell the notes. We'll primarily sell 100% of the note if it's up there, and it's at 14% principal and interest. So targeting affordable housing through, and focusing on this Warren Buffett strategy, we have here a cost-effective alternative to housing. An average manufactured home in Maricopa County, rehabbed and completely remodeled, say a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, around 1,000 to 1,200 square feet, is going to sell for anywhere from $100,000 to $150,000. So we actually put a program together, and what we really base it off of what is today's market rent. Today's market rent
from $1,850 to $2,500 a month.
So from that, if we can put a program together and we find today's market rent, and then put a program where we can get them into home ownership where their total monthly payment, including lot rent, is going to be about that same amount, which really it's about $1,800 to $2,000 a month. That's what helps us get people into this home ownership and get them away from the rental market. We'll get there.
So what's the market in Arizona for manufactured housing? It's a wide market. 10% of housing is actually manufactured homes here in Arizona. That's 300,000 mobile homes of individuals that fail to look at it as a potential investment vehicle. A lot of people put their nose up at manufactured housing. That's almost 250,000. That's more than 250,000 transactions that financing takes place on, insurance, transaction base, origination costs, and things of that nature that really is widely untouched as far as the market. We happen to have 2 niche market specialists in the room today. So that's here in the local market of Arizona. That's a tremendous amount of individuals that are priced out of owning a single family property because $460,000 is the average purchase price here in the local market.
So as he looked at that, that says there's over 300,000 manufactured homes in the state of Arizona. And all those homes turn. A lot of the mobile home parks were built in the 70s and mid 70s. And those park owners have a choice. They can either pull that older manufactured home out or find a company like ours to help rehabilitate the home and make it available, and we provide financing and so forth along the way. In Arizona, there's in Phoenix alone, there's 172 individual mobile home parks with homes available with lots on them.
That's just in Phoenix. There's all the major other markets of Mesa, Tempe, Glendale, Apache Junction.
So lots of homes available.
You may have to stand right here.
So again, this information and data that we're providing is based off of Warren Buffett's strategy. All we're doing through our companies is focusing on emulating the strategy that Warren Buffett's doing. We don't have the funds to own a big manufacturing facility to manufacture the brand new homes. So we'll buy the individual homes with the institutions. They'll serve them up to us as a preferred vendor, and we'll rehabilitate the homes. We never move them. Like Tom Chase happened to mention yesterday, the homes, the tongues have been cut off, the wheels have been taken off. These things aren't moving anywhere whatsoever. And there's a tremendous amount of volume of inventory that's available to be rehabilitated here in this market. And we've grown tremendously, and that's why we're here today, because we're looking for more investors that would like to participate with us on these homes. And we're going to be talking more about why it's such a great alternative for you on your investment strategy. So high demand for affordable housing, low competition, which is relative to the lending side, consistent cash flow, and lien position secured. Most important things, and we're going to be talking a little bit about that today, is that just like a single family home, you want to do certain things. You want to make sure, number one, that the borrower is qualified, and number two, make sure you have your lien position and it's third-party service so that you're not having to deal with it direct with the people communicating with you. So we'll kind of go through that if we can get these slides through. So here's a really big thing, and then I'll let Alden do the next ones, is it says here, manufactured home buyers must get double qualified. Tom Chase has the same thing going on that he spoke yesterday. This is a really cool thing that I really want to help dig in as to why you would lend or become a note holder on manufactured homes, is the borrower has to get double qualified. Number one, they have to go to the park, and the park is going to be looking for certain things. Number one, credit score and proof of income. Parks have raised their bar in regards to requirements of letting people get approved to actually even just live in the park. So before they even go through our underwriting and our Dodd-Frank compliance, they first have to step into the park and get approved there. So credit score 600 plus required, proof of income. If they've ever had an eviction, they can't get approved to live in the park. No convicted felons, and then we look at Dodd-Frank compliance. So again, once the people are actually qualified in that specific park to buy in that park, then we run them just like the underwriter gentleman that just spoke just a second ago. We run them through our Dodd-Frank third-party compliance officer. It's a specific company, and they'll get them go through their compliance and so forth. So they have to get double qualified, which raises the value of the specific note, because all a note investor wants to do is to make sure that their note is performing, right? You want to make sure it's the best chance for that note to actually go through the entire term of that specific note and get paid off on that. Click.
Click, click.
We'll take the walk around here. So we've converted multiple times with 21st Mortgage, and they've even matched our rate before here on manufactured housing. 21st Mortgage actually goes up to 25 years. We try to benchmark around 20 as a term out in the market, providing the affordability for the client, but also a long-term amortization schedule for the capital investor. 21st Mortgage actually doesn't have a year manufactured restriction. So they'll actually lend on pre-1977 personal property chattel mortgages. Kind of interesting, took us a long time to figure that out to help facilitate conversion for an individual that may have higher qualifications and be able to fit within the concrete guidelines of what they require for their lending criteria.
So as Alden's saying that, you know, this is us. This is our website, Mobile Mailbox Money, for investors to look at. You can go on the website. It's an easy sign up. Just put in your name and your email. We charge an interest rate of 14%, and that's a convenience rate. The people can always, you know, we offer to them this specific loan rate, and it's a match. So again, we look at what is the current lot rent and what's the difference between the, say the lot rent's $850 and the market rent rate in that area is $1,800. We have about $950 a month to play with so that we can go back to that prospective buyer and say, hey, look, you can continue to rent where you're at. What are you renting? And most of these people are renting a 500 to 700 square foot, 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom apartment. We're pulling from that source of people that are looking to get into home ownership and saying, hey, if we can kind of match that same monthly payment and get you to get into home ownership with 10% down, would that work for you? And they're excited about it. They're getting a fully remodeled home that's normally about 1,000 to 1,200 square feet, 3 bedroom, 2 bath. And they're excited. They're completely excited because now they're into home ownership.
They may be getting granite counters, new cabinets, and things of that nature in a market where that's not facilitated for what they even qualify for or the rental that's available at the end of the day.
Go ahead.
What is the typical age of the home that you're refurbishing, remodeling?
They're anywhere from 1975 to year 2020.
Yeah.
What would the median be?
You know, 70s are a big product availability here in the Valley. Why? Because a lot of the parks were actually developed here in the 70s. So they develop a gang of mobile home parks and bring in a bunch of mobile homes all at the same time. Well, that's available products, deferred maintenance programs to reestablish out in the industry and be a replacement cost for the community themselves. So creates a opportunity out of what may seem as, blight here in the valley.
So the parks, just to let you know, as Alden mentioned, they were built in the mid-70s. So they have a choice. What is the institution, the park, looking at? They're really looking at their cash flow of their lot rent. So if we can come in and actually get that lot rent going again and create a relationship with them, that's a super win. The cost for them to pull that manufactured home out and the time delay to go put a brand new $150,000 unit inside there and get it set up, just the time frame and so forth, where we can go in, structure a deal with them, rehabilitate the home, fix it all up. Like you mentioned, we're now pulling cabinets, putting brand new cabinets, brand new granite.
New windows, electrical, plumbing.
Yeah, we're doing everything. And the people are excited. It's really a rehab just like a single family home, mid-1970s. You got to go through the house and fix everything up that needs to be fixed.
They're not $5,000 rehab.
They're $40,000, $50,000, $70,000
Yeah,
rehabs. Some need more,
$60,000.
some need more love at the end of the day. Have we gotten in quick with, some? It just depends on how we acquire that asset, what condition it's in. We've looked at the plethora, the gamut rather of what's available in the valley. We bought stuff for as low as $500, turned an old 2.1 to a 3.2. It just depends on where it's at, what the market facilitates, and what's our exit strategy.
So, and again, it's the same as a 1970s home that was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, and you want to turn it to a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, which is the most favorable setup of a home. We'll rip the entire manufactured home all the way down to the studs, take all walls down. It's just a big open space, and then come in and actually design out 3 bedrooms, add 2 bathrooms inside that same home that was just a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. And we've done that on multiple occasions. So it's not a 30-day turn. It could take us 6-7 months to get it. But at the end of the day, we're going to get a premium price on a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, and especially if we can make it a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home in all age parks. It's sold before it's done. It's sold before it's done. Go ahead.
What do you do if it's an older park and has older infrastructure like sewer, water, pipelines that are kind of beyond your control and it's up to the park maintenance? Ed, how do you work around that?
So the only parks, and Tom mentioned this yesterday, he only invests in certain parks, in certain mobile home parks, and we do the same. So we're only dealing with specific parks that have a level of upkeep within. They're not cheap. They're $800 a month lot rent to $1,100 a month, which is really expensive. But you're not seeing graffiti on the walls. You're not seeing trash everywhere. They're institutionally owned parks. Institutionally owned parks, and that's what we specifically focus on.
I think it's great to point out, the election of a state of emergency in affordable housing and where to hedge your bets possibly at the end of the day in a market that's unsure, cash flow is little to non-existent. What are the major players doing? They're hedging in affordable housing, manufactured homes, because that may be where the market's going. Do I have a crystal ball? No, I don't. But I like following, what other magnates of industries are doing at the end of the day in order to calculate and make a move forward in the right direction. So, with your secured liens position, it's on a physical title, and each borrower meeting Dodd-Frank compliance additionally with the other players like Warren Buffett. I think it's a great strategy for individuals to ultimately look at. Why? Because you can additionally diversify across multiple doors with the same dollars when in comparison to a residential transaction. You get a lot more doors for your money and ultimately a higher yield on that lien position.
So this is the overall strategy of Warren Buffett that we see where he's kind of come in. Warren Buffett wants to be the biggest note holder in the country, and he is, but he's not telling you that. But he's doing it by owning the manufacturing facility and owning 21st Mortgage, which is the largest lender in the country for mobile homes and parks. So they're on leased land.
So he owns Clayton and Cavco. That's 2 of the largest manufacturers of mobile homes in the nation. They actually have factories here in Arizona, and 21st Mortgage did 90% of the manufactured home loans last year in the nation.
90%.
That's
so
a
when
big market.
I have other note investors go, oh, nobody invests on notes on manufactured homes on leased land. Nobody does. Well, Warren Buffett does it. Warren Buffett does it. So we did here, invest in mobile home notes. They generate higher returns and income. They're called chattel loans, and their interest rates range anywhere nationally, but with 21st Mortgage from 10 to 15%. We're a 14% principal and interest company, and we've been there for years. Number two, structured investments like 21st Mortgage, buy existing mobile home notes or originate notes for buyers who need financing. Number three, target underserved borrowers. The underserved borrowers, they have no place to go. I mean, BlackRock has bought up the entire country of low-cost housing, and they've raised rents. Rents have doubled in price. So where do people go if they want a home ownership and they're making, say, $40,000 to $60,000 a year, which is an average income in Arizona? How do you own a house if the house at 6% interest rate is $450,000? They're not going to be able to qualify. They can't qualify for a home. So manufactured homes is a great alternative for them. But it says focus on low-risk borrowers with consistent lot rent payment history and provide financing where banks won't target park residents and owners who need loans. Here's a new thing that we're actually working on this year, leveraging crypto and tokenization for liquidity. Alden and I have traveled as far as even Sydney, Australia last year to talk to international investors, and they're trying to figure out a way of how they can bring money into the US. And it's a super challenge for them to bring money into the US and actually get it right back out. So you're gonna start seeing there's actually a company called DigiShares that's one of the biggest tokenization real estate platforms that's coming out for 2025. And we want to jump on that specific bandwagon. I don't know how many people invest in cryptocurrency, maybe not a lot, but you've heard of it. You've heard of it, and I think that there's going to be a big change in regards to investing and options of people that, especially on an international basis, can be able to invest in the US. So as it says here, fractionalized mobile home notes and digital tokens for easier trading. And that's what we're looking at. And then last but not least, focus on long-term cash flow. Think long-term and reinvest the profits into notes and compounding cash flow. So that's really Warren Buffett's big strategy. So these, today, you know, our main company is Wynn Mobile Homes, and we didn't even put the logo up there about Wynn Mobile Homes. We're a licensed bonded dealer here in Arizona, and we're a licensed note originator. But for the purpose of notes, we have two different companies. Mobile Mailbox Money, you can go on the website, Mobile Mailbox Money, sign up, put in your name and your email, and you immediately get access, and you can see notes that we have available. We have multiple 14% principal and interest notes that are available. We even do construction loan notes that start at about 10% that are only one-year terms. So you could directly invest with us through Mobile Mailbox Money. Alden is actually heads up Silvercrest Opportunity Fund. It's a Reg D 506C accredited investor fund. And that fund actually was built primarily originally to start buying mobile home parks and RV parks and capitalize on that market on a larger scale. We're still looking at that as a matter of relative to the liquidity that we have in the fund. But until that time, we'll continue to put notes that we've created through Wynn Mobile Homes. We'll move them into the fund and raise capital within that.
I think the benefit of a note fund, you know, is for an individual that may be looking to place capital at a double-digit yield, but may not be so savvy in notes. They really want a secured passive rate of return, possibly for, you know, like a 1 or a 3 year term. They love notes, but they may not want the potential liability of owning a note whole in their portfolio. Well, this allows you in a note fund to diversify in the portfolio of notes opposed to buying one note in itself. So it's backed by the stability of, you know, say 10 notes that we take down in our portfolio, and at no cost to the investor. If the note goes non-performing, we end up reperforming that asset with our arm of the licensed dealer of manufactured housing, who has 7 in sales, about 5 in management, 15 in rehab, and does about 5 to 7 transactions a month. So that's the fund, and our model works great to acquire mobile home parks. Why? Because we're inadvertently increasing values as we go in and buy these homes, reestablish them out on the market, find a quality buyer, ultimately lifting the value of that park. So as we develop the fund and come across mobile home parks that fit our buy box within the criteria of more park-owned homes that need to be converted to tenant-owned homes through seller finance, those are all conversations and strategies that we're going to end up implementing here as the infancy of the fund is behind us.
So we're not investing in the fund, we're investing in a note.
You have two.
So mobilemailboxmoney.com, you can buy a note, singular, buy it, own it in its entirety. In the fund, we raise on a continuous raise, and it's backed on you invest on a per unit ownership in the portfolio of notes that we hold within the fund first lien.
At what point do you jump in should the payer go south?
Immediately.
So we have no loss in cash flow?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So the investor still keeps receiving their portion of the negotiated interest.
And is there a servicing fee or anything on that?
The servicing fee is built to the borrower at origination. So we set it up with third-party contract servicing, the notes structured through a third-party underwriter stamped off by a licensed mortgage officer, and set up with automatic fund transfer services. And within the 30 days after origination, we start receiving our capital.
And then my lien, it's recorded on that product. So
it's the one and only lien on title. There's no second lien. There's a first master lien on that title, and she can't refinance. She can refinance at any time at no prepayment, but she can't sell the home until the lien is cured. She can't change ownership of title until the lien is cured. Additionally, in residential transactions, you could buy almost subject to and do a quiet title change. You can't do that in manufactured housing.
What's the typical note size?
50 to 150,000 is the average purchase price of a manufactured home. So we take like 10% down on average.
90% loan to value.
Correct, but it's mitigated with the double underwriting as well as our evaluation of the community and things of that nature. It's really priced in for us to match or beat market rent. If we can have an individual buy that home on terms and they literally either can't go somewhere for cheaper or have to end up paying a little bit more for less quality, that creates a strong program ultimately for us to mitigate our risk. Because we would never lend on a home that we wouldn't personally invest in. My objective is to hold these notes long-term all in Silvercrest. That would be a big deal for me personally. I'm so personally vested. It's Arizona, our local market. I love giving back to my local city. I've bought and sold homes from high school friends, parents, and things of that nature. So it's really close to home for us personally.
Two quick questions. So number one, the down payment on average of the buyer's 10%?
Correct.
Okay, number two, with you being in the business as long as you have, what's your default rate on this kind of portfolio?
So it's about 1% default rate. We try our best ultimately to mitigate a potential default. We're not in the business of taking people's houses back. We want the payment at the end of the day. So if we need to put one payment on the back of the loan or something of that nature on the first miss, that's something that we get into a case-by-case situation, but there is recourse at the end of the day.
Remember this, Parks raised the bar tremendously. So even though we verbally qualify people and we ask them, they call up and they're interested in the house, or we ask them, hey, do you have a 600 plus credit score? How many people that make $40,000 to $60,000 a year have a 600 plus credit score? It's hard for me to believe with today's interest rates and people holding debt.
20% maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
We're really getting the cream of the crop of this industry.
Yeah, and because the parks have raised that rent. So if anybody's ever had an eviction, if you've had an eviction, you could go buy a single family home. If you've had a bankruptcy before, you're much easier to buy a single family home if you have income. You can't get into a mobile home park active, somebody that's had a felony, you could still buy a single family home. That's not part of the requirement. But in mobile home parks, you're out. You're out. Yeah.
All
So
the mobile home parks out there.
They've really raised the bar, and by them raising the bar gives us a better buyer. So our default rate is so much less. So at the end of the day, if you're a note investor, that gives you comfort that chances are these people are going to perform all the way through, which is awesome. Go ahead.
On the future acquisition of mobile home parks, what cap rate are you looking to get in at, and how long is the window going to be on that? Maybe that's a little esoteric, and I can talk to you privately.
Yeah, no problem whatsoever. Our envision, because we're a very large team here in Arizona, we have about 18 full-time rehabbers here in the Valley. We have a full back-end staff. We run a brokerage also that we just sell manufactured homes. So we have about 60 plus listings here in the Valley with a dozen agents. And because of that, we really love Arizona, primarily Maricopa County, and then Pinal County, which is just on the out fringe. The problem is those are institutional, majorly bought by institutions that they'll do a 4% return deal. So they're going to beat us out every time. But at one point in time, I think they'll turn and an opportunity will come up, and we'll be able to bring investors along within the fund to be able to take that acquisition, because we have so many great, we have a full platform here of rehabbers and so forth. We think that we'd be able to ultimately get a better return on something that maybe has hair on it, the park has some issues with it and needs a big remodel or whatever. We would be a company that could actually really perform on that.
With your dominance and experience in the Arizona market, have some of the big players approached you about opportunities in other states like Texas and Florida?
So we have a couple of big institutions that deal direct with us on their homes underneath our program, and they've offered us Florida and Texas on regular occasions. Here's
Las
the
Vegas.
challenge. And Vegas. But here's the challenge. There's so much business to be. We could triple in size of where we're at right now just in this market. Why would I get on a plane and have to find brand new rehabbers and have to deal with potential theft or whatever in another state? If it's right underneath in our own backyard, it's controllable, unless we did some venture partnership with somebody in another market.
That's where I was going, about that possibility of somebody with experience in other markets.
Yeah, we've really looked at an educational piece where we would teach somebody that's in the Texas market duplicate and then grab all those notes and throw them onto our main corporate platform and help sell those notes and let them do an owner carry platform. We could replicate it that way much easier, where we have a local partner in each one of those areas. And I definitely would be interested in that. And we've really refined the market in regards to that. But, I think Tom does Vegas also. It's a challenge even just going to Vegas and dealing with that, because it's not in your own backyard.
We pass on deals frequently here just because potential lack of capital or whatever it may be at that time. But there's more than enough to go around here in the local market of Arizona, and the need is not going away by anytime soon.
I'm from Texas, so I see the laws in Texas being
adjacent.
just a lot of things, the opportunity to duplicate this in Texas, but it's got to be the right JV. It's got to be, all the things have to fit, otherwise it's a disaster.
Well, we'd love to talk to you after.
I'm originally from Houston, went to UT in Austin, met my wife in Austin. Alden's born in Austin, and then we moved to Atlanta. So all of our relatives, and I love the idea of doing something in Texas. It's just finding the right partner on that, because just the idea of us traversing down there and it would be too much. We've got too much opportunity in this market. You think about Arizona is a very dynamic market. You don't have the big fire and all the drama in California and pricing, and you don't have the hurricanes in Florida. Arizona is a very sweet market, and I know a lot of people raise their hand thinking that this market's going to fall off. With Blackstone, they're going to come in and they'll scoop everything out of the market and turn it into a rental if pricing goes down. And they'll scoop it again, and they have unlimited trillions of dollars that they can place in the market. So the rental market is here to stay. And kids growing up and graduating right now, I would say probably 1 in 100 are becoming homeowners. It's 99 are renters for the rest of their life. And that's what they've created. The whole idea of home ownership is completely gone. So pricing is all, I believe pricing is always going to stay up in single family homes unless interest rates go to 10 and 12%. And that could have a bit of a fall off because then more people can't qualify. But the people are never going to sell. The people that have 2 to 4% interest rates, they're never going to sell. Why would they sell? It'd be crazy. They'll never sell because they can't get that interest rate back again.
They'll be accidental landlords at that point.
So this is a Warren Buffett strategy. We talked about doing, we just put these slides together the first time doing this, but I think it really gives a lot of teeth and understanding that there's a super player that's out in the market that's doing this on a quiet basis. You're never hearing him say that he does lending on manufactured homes and parks. You don't hear
pretty
that.
Quiet.
Yeah, he's quiet about it.
While his major position,
he's probably 80% of the market of all the loans. Yeah. So you should really look at manufactured homes and parks as low-cost housing. So last but not least, before we start this, one of our biggest gains for our company is the big blessing that my son happened to have figured out the social media equation. And he goes and interviews at each one of these events. This was actually previously at the Alt Summit here at Orange Tree Golf Course at the other conference room. And he interviewed a couple people, and hopefully we can get that to play.
Yeah, so, we've been to Diversified Mortgage Expo. Shout out to Nathan Turner, was out there with the cameras, was a great event. Note Expo, we interviewed Eddie Speed. We're at Arizona Real Estate Investors Association, getting hot takes from individuals and providing market analysis too, to kind of pivot possibly at any given time to different markets. So we'll go ahead and roll into this video here.
By the way, there's the proud dad behind him. See my big face back there? He's about 30 pounds heavier.
We're here at the Note Expo 2024 with the godfather of notes, Mr. Eddie Speed. Eddie, if you could just introduce yourself for the viewers that don't know you.
Well, my name's Eddie Speed.
We're at the Weston Galleria with Mark Monroe here at Mobile Mailbox Money and Silvercrest Opportunity Fund. Mark, if you could just introduce yourself for the viewers that don't know you.
Hello, guys. My name is Mark Monroe.
Alden Guajardo with Mobile Mailbox Money and Silvercrest Opportunity Fund. We're here today in Scottsdale, Arizona at the Alternative Asset Summit, thrown by Directed IRA. I'm here today with Mike Del Pree. Mike, if you could just introduce yourself for the viewers that don't know you.
Yes, Mike Del Pree, Executive Director of the Arizona Real Estate Investors Association.
Alden Guajardo here today at the Alternative Asset Summit with Mobile Mailbox Money, Silvercrest Opportunity Fund, and Studio Captions and Advertising. I'm here today with Desi Arnez. Desi, if you could just introduce yourself for the viewers that don't know you.
Hi, I'm Desi Arnez, and I am the Senior Fund Manager at the Everly May Real Estate Fund.
Strategy for Case Morby, our booth's right here, silvercrestopportunityfund.com.
I love it.
That's for accredited investors. What's your take on that strategy?
I think it's the greatest strategy. Affordable housing. If you're not solving affordable housing, then what are you doing? Like, I see people trying to get into luxury stuff, and they're just in the wrong area.
Absolutely.
Affordable housing, mobile homes, manufactured homes.
It's here to stay, right?
Oh, bro, it's just going to blow up.
What's your opinion of the stability of that asset class as the note, the seller carry note? It depends on the origination, right? So if it's underwritten, right, you have security on title, you have a lien on the property.
Loan to own, guys. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to be loaning to own. So when you're originating a loan, worst case scenario, you take back the property that you originated the loan against.
It's a tangible asset.
Yes, it's the best.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm loaning money on a non-tangible asset today, and I'm like shaking in my boots. So don't put your money where I put some of my money, okay? Put it over here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that's Alden Guajardo here at the Alt Asset Summit with Silvercrest Opportunity Fund and Mobile Mailbox Money.
Shout out.
Bam, bam, bam. That's how we do it.
So we're here today in Chaparral Village. We've done a tremendous amount of business in these communities from Cal-Am Properties. This one in particular in Tempe off major cross streets of Kyrene and Baseline. We're currently rehabbing this home right behind me. Took all of the old metal siding off, all of the old windows out. We'll be getting it to a brand new looking manufactured home. The cost to replace something like this, to go buy from the manufacturers that offer mobile homes here in the Valley could cost a community or an individual around $150,000. And by the time they get it here, there's still no profit. So they have to mark that price up. So if the community's doing that or an individual wants to do it themselves,
Eddie's thrown the Note Expo for a few years now. We're here at the Dallas West End Galleria. Eddie, we originate notes on manufactured housing for the more affordable acquisition for the investor, offering a higher yield. What's your opinion of a strategy like that? You know, low-cost housing is important out in the market right now, and we feel it provides a great stability outside of potential fluctuations of the stock market. Right? What would you have to say about a strategy like that, being out here at the Note Expo?
Well, I've bought thousands, literally, of notes on mobile home and land, so I understand the collateral type very well.
Absolutely.
And I think you're right. It does give the value of affordable housing, and it solves a problem for people.
So that's what we do, and we have a big social media presence in the market. We get the majority of our business, and including the institutions are actually now calling us because they're seeing what we're doing with other institutions of rehabilitating homes in the market. That home that you saw that was completely tore up just sold
2 days ago,
2 days ago.
for $125,000, and a note investor from the Note Investor University actually bought that note from us at table of origination.
Yeah, so that's a classic example. You could Google how would they find you online?
Mobile mailbox money is the easiest way to find all of our content. We do vlogs, walkthroughs of homes, negotiations with clients. You see cash offers. The camera's really like right in the middle of the transaction at any given time. Wide variety.
Even we're here, and I don't realize he's got the video on, and I'm talking to somebody. I look up, I'm like, hey, did he just videotape me? So he's always videotaping. You may see yourself online at this event. But you know, it's a completely different game in this world for marketing. And is it the Yellow Pages anymore, the Yellow Pages book? No, it's all social media and it's all online, and we're capitalizing and doing that. Alden's 30 years old, and he's my oldest in my family. My 26-year-old daughter runs our brokerage, and she does it on TikTok. And what's her TikTok views?
Yeah, she's got a couple million views. So we schooled her in social media. You know, it takes some self-confidence to get out there a little bit when you're not so much online. But she's got more leads than she can deal with from the exposure online. And it's really been life-changing for myself as well. You know, coming in and getting with adjacent brands and, you know, ultimately doing business with the people you know, like, and trust. In putting that out there, you know, I think that's important for people to see, you know, who you frequent with, who your mentors are, and who you're around, you know, on a regular basis. You know, that stuff's really paid in spades for us.
So as we finish our conversation, we really started doing notes as a way for us to create a little bit of velocity, because if we were able to do the owner carry portion of it, we could sell that inventory a little bit faster. So we're definitely looking for investors to come along with us on the ride. Our notes pay 14% principal and interest. And even though it's a higher rate, it's still a little bit of a give, because you're helping somebody who normally couldn't qualify for home ownership, getting them into home ownership. So there's a little bit of a give back that's associated with it.
And I'm not going to put you on the spot, but there's 4 of my investors in this room right now. A lot of people kind of left. But that just shows, you know, what's going on here in the Valley. So we appreciate you guys giving us the time of day here. We have multiple notes that are available. If you have questions or anything, this is our local market. We'd love to talk to you personally and help you secure financial freedom.
Any questions, any additional questions? But thank you for so much. And thank you for waiting for us. I think we're the last crew for the day. So we're like, man, I think it'd be like 2 people here, or what's going on? There's actually some people
stuck around.
Well, thanks for having
Appreciate
us
it, everyone.
Today, Saturday. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
right, guys.
I'm
going to just close very, very
licensed,
quickly.
but the time that it
First
takes
of all,
and the
thank you,
cost
all
that
of
it
you. That's
is,
great.
we'd rather
If you're
rehabilitate
not
what we
following
have.